of the struggle he encountered with the church at Corinth. By the time this second letter was sent by Titus, they were in a crisis. Not from the outside influence, but from within. You got quiet right there. Don't you know that the enemy will walk in the door in a three-piece suit, wearing Gucci heels and a money? Come on there, somebody. He don't come in red with a pitchfork and a ponytail. He come in dressed up, looking just like you and me. Hey, come in to influence from within. For if you can divide the house,
talk, Brother God.
The influence, the evil influence was inside the church. False teachers had stirred up the people against Paul, claiming that he was fickle, that he was proud, that he was unimpressive in appearance and unimpressive in speech. He may not have crossed every T or dotted every I. The way he looked was not according to their specification of what a leader in the church should look like. I tell you today, it's not about what's on the outside, but it's what's on the inside. First lady, I know some may not like what you look like. They may not like how you act. But if God is in you, and if God will just lead you, you don't worry about the naysayers. But you just keep doing what God's called you to do. They claimed that Paul was dishonest, that he was unqualified as an apostle of Jesus Christ. They undermined his authority by slandering his personal character. There is no hurt like a church hurt. People are always running their mouth about things. 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about. They're putting you down. They're haters. They're jealous of you. But I tell you, don't be jealous of what God is doing in my life, because you don't know what I had to go through. You don't know the cost I had to pay to get to where I am today. You don't know. Be careful of those that you're envious of. Hey, my God. They undermined his authority and slandered his name, slandered his character. So Paul had to deal with the doubt and the false doctrine regarding resurrection. He had to deal with the extravagant use of resources. He had to deal with those that were drunken and those that had relapsed into the pagan community. There were divisions among them, and that was the first thing that he had to address in this second letter. The division. All of you should be speaking the same thing, of the same mind. Paul had to let them know so that when I came, I didn't come representing me. I came representing Jesus Christ and him crucified. I came preaching Jesus and not Paul. I came with the truth and not a lie. And oh my God, but the devil got mad and tried to wreck the thing. But as the report came back to Paul, he was told that there were many that repented, but there was a minority that still the enemy had hardened their hearts and they would not see the truth. And I can imagine with the hurt and the anguish that this leader faced on this day. But God is a good God, and he gave him strength to stand. And as we look at this letter from that 4th chapter, we find there that Paul refers to the Christian as earthen vessel. That in one interpretation, a jar of clay. That's something that is very fragile and that's easily broken. But I tell you, there are times in this life when we go through some things that are going to cause these vessels to crack, to break. But one time when we come into the house of God, when we come into a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ, we come in broken. We come in with all kinds of holes in our vessels. But that's the time when the Lord can take us and begin to do He's here, and He's able to heal us. When we come in, after we've been walking with Him for a while, those jars become much more difficult to break, because the content, which is the power of God, the longer that it's resides in there, the more of that character that jar of clay take on. The more that you render to God, the more that you give to the Lord, the more He will begin to fill you, until one day it becomes more and more difficult for that clay, for that jar of clay to crack at everything that will come your way. Our life should reflect the power of God. For we cannot make it in this walk without Him. We cannot make it in this walk without Him. We do not have the power or the strength to fight Satan on his territory. That's why the Bible gives us the whole armor of God that we need to put on every day. For we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. People of God, be encouraged today that God has the power to hold us and to keep us in all our ways. And as Paul refers to the Christian as a fragile jar of clay, he also encourages us. And he says that we are not immune by trouble. And sometimes it might knock on our door first. The plan is to get us to doubt God, to get us to give up and turn around and to turn our back on God, disappointed and hurt by the things that we experience in life. From time to time, we may be troubled on every side, but we are not in distress. Paul says that we may be perplexed, but not in despair. Perplexed means that we are at wit's end. There are times when things come at us so strong and we don't know which way to go. But that's the time that we need to stand still and seek the Lord. Have you ever been there? Don't know which way to go, and there seems to be no hope that you're at the end of your rope. But a songwriter wrote the style, a knot in the rope, and just hold on. Understand that God will answer by and by, and He will come to your rescue. Paul says we may be persecuted, but not forsaken. Persecuted means to be hunted down and chased. Paul wasn't hunted as he did the Christians before his conversion. But he did